Been for your walk this morning?
No, I'll be honest. I was supposed to get up and do Joe Wicks, but I had a few watching the game yesterday. Just couldn't be bothered.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Save it for later.
Yeah, I am going for a walk later, but yeah. So it's hard, isn't it, to get motivated? I don't know about you.
Yeah. I'll be honest. It's as soon as you sat down and you see something that you like on TV. As much as I'm an outdoor person, it's hard. I'm proper bored now.
I like always have been into Big Bash cricket, and like literally I get up and I can watch that till midday, and then I'm like, oh, what do I do now? So
well, that's it. Half your day's gone. So
yeah. So how are you coping?
All right. Yeah. I'd much rather be back coaching and getting involved with all that. But yeah, there's nothing we could do. We had probably 2 or 3 inches of snow over the weekend. That's pretty much gone though now, so we're all good. But yeah, I think it's not for another month. They're on about coming out of, which I'll be climbing the walls if I'm honest. But yeah,
we've had loads of rain. We wouldn't have been open, like golf courses wise, at all. No chance. And I didn't mind it when people said, "Oh, January into February," but like you say, now he's saying March or something, and it's like.
Well, I remember actually just as New Year turned, speaking with the members, I said, "Oh, I'd take 4 weeks lockdown if it meant the vaccine and everything can go out." And now I'm shooting myself in the foot really because it's probably a little bit longer. But yeah, I've managed to get to speak with a load of guys this week, which has been great. From different backgrounds. Obviously, it's great to have you on as a female pro. That's one thing that I did want to sort of talk about.
We do exist.
Yeah, and well, that's it. We're probably going to get onto that as well. But like you say, there's not that many about. I know I teach a lot of girls, few county player girls who are sort of aspiring to be that. So it'd be great, obviously, to get some feedback from yourself how you found it as well.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a pro now?
What am I on now? 13, 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah, and straight out of university.
Right, which uni?
Loughborough,
right, okay. So what age were you when you started? So it's quite a while been a pro.
There's a photo of me age like 2-ish with a golf club, but I mean I can't say that I was like that child prodigy like Tiger or Rory. I think I started to go to the club about 8-ish, but like I couldn't join the golf club at 8. You had to wait till you were 10, which is mental. Really? Yeah, that's how old I am, Danny. So couldn't join the club until I was 10, then joined the club at 10, and I suppose started from then.
Were there many young girls at the time when you joined?
No.
Pretty much the only one.
Yeah, but we had a massive junior section. I think we had nearly 100 kids. So all right, there might have only been a handful of us girls, but the age range from 10 to 18. I mean, it was a bit of a crash, to be honest. I know you might find it annoying having like kids hang around in the pro shop.
No, to be fair, I'm part kid myself. I'm so child-minded. I'm still I'm like Peter Pan almost. But
the
even
pro
going
the pro used to do as like 3 club challenge. So he'd take the clubs out of, like everyone has this old bag, and it'd be like, right, 3 club challenge, go and play 9 holes just to get rid of them, I think. So.
Right. So even obviously starting at say 8 and not many girls, going through the ranks then, how did you find, was there many events for girls to play in?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as the guys.
Like
exactly. Like junior opens are open to boys and girls and stuff. For the first 3 or 4 years, well, obviously with club comps, it was all boys and girls type things, and then county level. It started to get more separated, I suppose. The better you get. So when you play like English amateurs, that was kind of exclusively kind of your age group or females. But if you notice with England Golf now, they're actually starting to tie them both together.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was, I think it was due to COVID, but I think it will actually help in the long run if they keep it that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, to be fair. So Even going from the amateur to professional, did you notice a big difference in terms of the female side of things?
What, in terms of what, ability?
In
or
sort
the amount
of
of people?
ability, competitions.
The thing is, you're playing top level amateur, so you're all turning pro together. So
that's what the guys, the guys have said that this week as well.
And there'll be a couple of people a few years older than you, a couple of people a few years younger than you, and then obviously there are the ones that are kind of 10 years older than you, or even 5 years older than you, that you're like, I heard about them when I played England golf, or I've watched them on television. But you know, the class of, what would it be, 2007 or 8, I knew a lot of them. Say 25 of us got the tour card, I reckon I would have known 17 of us.
Right, okay. Quite a tight-knit group, and that's good. So obviously getting the card and everything, even as a pro, it's been interesting this week speaking to guys of highs and lows, because I think everyone thinks professional golfers, that's it, you are the pinnacle of the game, but there is bad times. What have your best and worst bits been? Because a lot of people don't see like the traveling side of things. Someone mentioned that this week, they hated it.
I think the traveling thing is just something that I never had a problem with. I could sleep on a washing line, still can. So I'm all right with that. Like, it's part of the job. When people say they struggle with it, you're like, well, what was you? Everyone was traveling from such a young age. I think the travel gets harder when you get a family. That's when the travel, as a single person, the travel's ace. But I was reading about Chris Wood the other day, and he said now he's got a couple of kids, he kind of likes being at home. So I think that it's only the pull of home which makes traveling harder, I would say. What would be my bet? I tell you what, my worst one was. It was a horrible day. So the last event of the year was in Dubai at Emirates Golf Club. Emirates Golf Club is one of my favourite places in the world. So my best memory was maybe a year or two before, shooting 66 final round, had my friend's dad on the bag. We had a couple of drinks afterwards. I shot 66, didn't even know I'd shot 66. You know, it was one of those days. I had a couple of mates watching, hold my final putt, and I kind of had no idea what I'd shot. I was just in the zone, as you would say. So I think Majlis, one of my favourite golf courses, amazing. It can't have been more than a couple of years later, my friend is back from college and he offers to caddy for me. So his dad is now back to work, rejected, and I take my mate, and I needed to make the cut to make sure I was definitely guaranteed for the following year. So Dubai's there was a funny one. You were either playing for the Order of Merit or you were playing for your living. And that year I was playing for my living, and I was cruising, shot like 2 or 3 under first round, not a problem. I think I was level, well, maybe it dropped to about level par total or 1 under total, and the cut's always quite low in Dubai. And I made the most disgusting, I think it was 6 or 7 down the 9th. I hit it in the bunker off the tee, tried to get it out with a 6-iron, left it in, hacked my way down there. I don't know if it was a 6 or a 7. So I've gone from like cruising to being on the cut. And that afternoon, waiting to see if you've made the cut, to see if you're going to play the next year. And the 9th and the 18th green, it's the same green at Emirates. And I don't know what made me do it, but we went and sat in the grandstand and we watched the last group. And there was 2 players, one on 9 and one 18. If they both made birdie, I'd lost my job. And one player holed a 40-footer for birdie on 18. And the player on 9 had hit it to no more than 12 feet. And I was honestly feeling physically sick. And the girl missed from 12 feet and I kept my job. And I just thought, that is horrendous. That's having your fate in someone else's hands, knowing that you've done it to yourself. That I reckon if there was ever a time I could have been physically sick at golf, I think that would have probably been it.
But that's it's things like this week, which I know I've had a few sort of emails from or texts from a lot of more the older junior side players who've asked in, and some stuff they just never thought of. So like that example, for example, you would never think, oh, a professional golfer living the life, and then you sat there and you think from a 12-foot putt you could lose your job.
Yeah, I mean, you have obviously opportunity to go back to Q school.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
At that point, your head's gone. So to get yourself up, the thing is, this is a thing about Q school. People that are at Q school that have come off tour have had a bad year. So you're going into Q school playing badly. And then you've got the youngsters that have been playing
hungry,
out of their skin and hungry. So it makes it difficult. But it's amazing that you can be at one golf course and have two totally different sides of the spectrum, with like the same family members there and everything. So it's that's golf though. You get the massive highs and you get the massive lows.
Yeah, you do get the lows. I think that's what a few of them have learned this week of just knuckling down. But no, it's interesting, some of the stories that have come out. So obviously, do you still play a bit now? Are you still playing, or?
I don't play on tour. I played the odd pro. I mean, obviously last year there was not much to play. I had a little outing on the Clutch tour.
Yeah.
I had a little outing on that, but and came fifth actually. So I kind of quit while I was ahead. But I don't know. Like
the playing's taking a bit of a backseat.
Yes and no. Like sociably, play all the time. Like any chance I can get. Like I played the Monday before we got locked down. So I actually use it as a bit of time to switch off and see my mates and stuff.
Yeah.
I won't say I'll never ever play again. Might play in the odd pro here and there and stuff. Might try and qualify for an open. But for this moment, not playing.
So in terms of what you're doing, keeping busy, then is it coaching? What
doing much at the minute, Dan.
Well, no, not at the minute. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yes.
What are you sort of dabbling in now then?
So I kind of came off tour at the end of 18, but I'd had like a plan in place. So took a job actually at a bar in Manchester, but coaching randomly. It had 5 simulators in there, full-type simulators.
They're coming the trend at the minute, aren't
they? They are, but not too successful at the moment, even when we do reopen. Okay. So unfortunately, that kind of hasn't survived lockdown, COVID and everything. But luckily for me, managed to get another unusual venue, the Mercedes-Benz garage.
I've seen that. That's good though. That's quirky.
Yeah, it's the biggest car garage in Europe, and we've got a track van for simulator in there, which is awesome. So it's like you've been in an airport terminal. So when people say to me like about indoor coaching, I think my indoor is a lot different from back of a pro shop. That's pretty awesome. The staff are great. You get the whole service of coming to a car garage. So you get your free coffee, tea, you get looked after, you get taken upstairs, you have your lesson. So that's awesome. Really enjoy that. And it's nice being in a different environment, I suppose. And then from a media point of view, I work with Sky, work with the LET, doing commentary on the Ladies European Tour, go in the studio with Sky.
How have you found that? How's that been? Commentating now on almost the places you've been as well.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I think
stress-free.
Don't know.
No.
yeah. It's like live productions are never as easy as you think. So it's nice to be still involved. I still really enjoy watching golf. Thankfully, a lot of the courses I still know really well, and some of the players. But then it's also pretty cool to go visit. Like last year, Switzerland was new, Kenya was new to me, Saudi Arabia was new. So going to the new courses and learning about them. Whereas somewhere, I mean, I could honestly commentate around. Let's see where they go. India, like the back of my hand.
Right,
I wouldn't I know the course really well, so I wouldn't have to, arguably do as much work. I'd have to research the players more than the course. So that's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. And then I also, I'm sure a few people that will be watching this have got How Did I Do? So I am that person that keeps popping up on your app, I'm afraid. But they're based in Manchester actually, so it's really
all right.
nice.
Yeah, we use it at our place. Yeah,
exactly. So the guys there are great. We've got a nice little team. So we have a company at the side called Golf a Lot, which do all the reviews.
Yeah, we're going to come on to that with the reviews. Yeah.
And then How Did I Do, which everybody knows. So we were supposed to do this like almost road show of going around to all the golf, like loads of golf courses. Doesn't matter how expensive or how cheap or whatever, and kind of just do little videos on them. So we did it in Hollywood, Northern Ireland, and it was great. Loved it. And then that was our plan for last year. And
that's
didn't get very far.
Soon went south. So coaching wise, obviously you said you'd been doing a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Proudest moment that you've had coaching wise? Any specific pupils, or what do you find rewarding out of that side then?
I suppose that when I was coming through England stuff, I always used to think I could not coach beginners or high amateur guy. Like, I just didn't think I could do it. And actually now, I don't think I could do without it. It's one of my most rewarding things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's good.
Exactly. And elite golfers, they can already do it. You're not actually teaching them that much other than up here. You're not changing their swing. I think some elite golfers come to me and I don't really change their swing. And they're like, oh, right, like, you're off like one handicap. You can do this. You just need to iron out mental preparation and that and little tweaks. But yeah, in terms of, I had a guy that comes to me called Jet, and he's a member down the road at Bramall. And he's an older gentleman, but he's a legend. Like, he's a solicitor.
He'll be loving it that you've just quoted his name in this.
Yeah. So he's absolute legend. And he had a hole in one, his first hole in one. And he took a photo of the whiskey on the side of the bar. And I was like, that's so cool. It's stuff like that. A couple, like when you get the text to say they've broke 90.
I'd agree. It's great. It is good teaching good players, but it's all, even with the kids, it's always nice when they've be the best scorer or something like that. It almost just brings everything back to people just taking golf up, in my eyes. But yeah, it is good, that side. Yeah,
I think people need to appreciate that just because you're a good golfer, it doesn't mean that you'll just teach good golfers or vice versa.
I had that. I got asked that once of someone almost believed that a good player is a good coach. I was like, well, that's not always the case. Someone may have better knowledge or whatever, but the thing, almost good people teach good people and stuff like that. But it's definitely not the case.
No, you just got to be a good communicator, haven't you?
Have a bit of banter. So you mentioned the golf a lot. How have you found reviewing clubs? Obviously, I imagine you'll get to hit hundreds now.
Yeah, so I'm still in the stage where I'm like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
But I can imagine Rick Shields is like, oh, that's
another one.
So I played ping my entire tour life, so I didn't know any different. So it's quite hilarious when somebody says, oh, the noise of a ping. I'm like, don't really notice the noise of the ping. Or when, what do they call them? Which I don't call them that, but people have game improvement. That's the one. So the ones that that are going to help you, that apparently, well, they feel different and they sound different. Well, I'd never played with a game improvement club. So they would give me, I don't know, like a P790 and go, yeah, how does it feel? And or I'm like, what? And then they'd give me something which is really performance enhancing. And it was like a rocket had gone off. And I couldn't feel a thing. And I'm like, I get it now. But then also, I've got to say, the sound thing, if you're a high handicapper, would you rather your club or ball go straight down the middle onto the green and afterwards there's a bit of a noise? Or would you rather it sound good and miss short right?
That's a lot people don't think of. What's been the best you've tested then recently? Obviously the new Callaway, the new pings, I've heard good stuff about. What sort of?
First of all, they're all really good. Like you don't get
they are struggling
anymore. I think I never appreciated this, that Ping are the most stable golf clubs ever. But I never realised because I didn't know any different. So I think the likes of Callaway and TaylorMade have been the longest. So it's like almost like Ping would like to be longer and Callaway and TaylorMade would like to be kind of more stable. And I do think that they've all come together in that way. So last year, I think TSI really set the bar. I hit everything the same, but that one definitely boosted me. Yeah, but now it's almost like this year's are just as good as so. The Epic is a great club.
The Epic and Ping are what I'm wanting to try. They look good
I don't think you'll get more length out of a ping than a Callaway Epic, but you'll probably get a little bit more straightness.
I always like to
hit
think
it straight.
It's very safe, like a safe car, and then you have like loads of horsepower with the Callaway, and it just goes off like a rocket.
Yeah, and then I think Sim 2 comes out on Tuesday.
I've never settled with TaylorMade. Can I honestly say that? Never.
It's because you don't like the look of them. If you don't like the look of them, you don't hit them well. That's just the way it is.
It's never really done it for me, that.
They're good.
They're all good, yeah.
Can't say too much about it because it comes out. But yeah, the new TaylorMades are, I think, I've gained yardage from last year's with this year's.
Okay.
But with all Callaway Titleist, with all 4 of the big ones, I have. But is it worth? I don't think manufacturers ever expect you to go from Sim to Sim 2.
Yeah.
Unless you are somebody like, you buy an iPhone and everyone wants to upgrade. Manufacturers don't expect you to do that. If you do, bonus. I think they're more expecting you to change your driver every 4 or 5 years. And when you do, this is what's on offer.
Yeah. It's I thought that'd be interesting, that side of things. Like you say, if you've played ping all your life pretty much, then having another club in your hand, it'll probably been a bit of an eye opener. But
and I swing it as fast as most people. Like I'm a 92, 93 mile an hour swinger of a driver. So I swing speed like most people watching.
Yeah.
But I probably hit it straighter. So that I give in one area and take in the other, I suppose.
Yeah. So obviously, sort of the last topic I wanted to quiz you on was the whole sort of women's golf. Of how do you feel it's going? I know me personally teaching, I'd probably say I've got more junior girls than I have sort of the older ladies, or even club members. But it's nice to see that there is almost a cluster of younger girls coming through. How do you feel it's growing a bit more? I noticed on Sky Sports it seems to be a little bit more out there, which is good.
Yeah, Sky over the past few years have definitely made a statement in putting more women on, putting ethnic minorities, supporting different genders, sexualities. They are making a massive stance on this, which I think is great. It's nice to turn on the television and have options. So it's good that it's kind of on the screen. I think golf clubs get quite heavily beaten up about all this type of stuff, but also they need the knowledge to help it evolve. I think if they were helped more, because there's no 50% of the world is women, and 87% of golfers are men and 13% are women. Golf clubs would love to have to tap into that.
That market
to women, because it's an untapped market. So I think the reason you've got more junior girls is because their dads bring them. It's interesting to see when they get to 13 or 14, if they carry on, that's a drop-off point. I do think you see a lot of 9, 10, 11-year-old girls at driving ranges with their dad, then it drops off. So that's an area. And also women don't spend a lot of money on golf. It's very, very rare. I'll say to a guy, well, how much you charge an hour? And you say the same to the woman and they go, oh, that's a bit expensive. Because they're not as big as spenders. But how do we make them as big as spenders, I suppose, is the thing. Because we'll quite happily, every 6 weeks, drop £100 at the hairdressers, get our nails done, all that lot, which you guys wouldn't. So no. I don't know if it's, but I don't know if it's because we spend it in other areas. So if I'm spending £100 on my hair, £30 on my nails, you're spending that probably on, men might be spending that on their sport.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one to do. I think we're definitely getting there. I just think in general, I don't think we should bash. I feel like a lot of the time that the only reason that stuff gets promoted in women's sport is because somebody's bashing it, or let's not bash it, let's let it breathe. I do agree in supporting people, but you don't always have to just see the negatives in stuff. But it's it's definitely
yeah, I'd definitely say
better.
even myself coaching the kids, I would definitely, I've seen a rise in girls, which is great. And like you say, there comes to a tip-off point, 13, 14, it's maybe just pushing them through the barrier or thinking of other ideas when they get to that age of what you can do to keep them going. But I would, from my side of things, definitely say it seems to be going in the right direction, and I think it should. I don't think there's a reason why it shouldn't, which is a nice
it's
thing.
just it's how do you remain at that age. I think there's a drop off in sport for girls in general at that age, and so I think it's a problem that most sports will have.
So a bit more of a positive, hopefully. What are you looking forward to for this year? Everyone said back to normal, but yeah. Is there anything that you've got in the pipelines?
What am I looking forward to this year?
Come on, we've got to finish on a positive.
I know, I've got to finish on a positive. I think it's the little things now, isn't it? Like if somebody had said to me, "Oh, you can go and play golf now," I probably would, and it's flooded out there. So there's a couple of girls' trips. Like we were supposed to go on a girls' golf trip in March to Portugal that got put off. So and there's a few, like a couple of mates trips, golf trips that, and I'm not one for that, Dan. I'd never done it before until like 2 years ago. So I went on one last year. I did manage to go. We were supposed to go to Spain. We ended up in Crosby. Not the same. It was still good fun. And then we were supposed to go to Portugal. Didn't go to Portugal. We went up to Scotland and did a girls' trip. So I actually wouldn't mind doing a few more of that. And I'd like to play a few more courses in Britain. I think as an amateur, I played all the best courses. But I'd quite like to get back to going over to Ireland and playing a few over there.
Little gems.
Yeah, exactly. Just tick a few off the bucket list, I suppose.
Right then, 5 questions everyone's been answering. Little quick fire questions. Yeah. Favorite player of all time?
Well, it's Tiger, obviously. It was early when I first started. I loved him. I wanted black cat. Oh yeah, I wanted black cat irons. I got the tailor-made bubble burner, everything, and then Tiger came along, and then it just got pretty exciting.
It took a backseat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Annie. Favorite club in the bag?
Driver.
Just because it's so straight.
This is my favorite club. It's reliable. Yeah.
Your go-to shot: OB left, water right. But I just imagine if you hit it so straight, you're not really going to be a worrier.
No, I had a captain of the Curtis Cup squad team, and she always used to say, if you're going to hit it in the water, hit it well. And actually that's a really good, if you just stand there and hit it properly, and if it goes in, it goes in, because at least you've committed to it. Most of the time you hit it OB whatever because you've got negative thoughts and that. So that
I was going to say, don't think negatively.
Which was quite good. It was like, if you're going to do it properly. And
this will be an interesting one then, from playing a bit. Favorite course you've played?
I did this during lockdown number 1, actually. So
did you?
I had so my favorite was the Magulist.
Okay, yeah, up at Emirates, yeah.
Memories and I love the club. It's
great, isn't it? It's great setup. Yeah.
Royal Melbourne is.
Oh.
Yeah, but listen to this. I have never not played the composite. So I've only ever played the composite course. I've never played the West and the East individually. So I'm being really elitist in that, but that's mine. Yeah.
Bucket list. And last one, to win a major, favourite major to win?
My favourite major is the Masters, but obviously to win would be Women's British Open.
Yeah, I'm glad you stuck with the Open. To be fair, I might as well have not put the other ones on because no one's really answered them two. For the guys, they've either said Masters or Open. So, but yeah, British Open, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think the US Open's more money. So if we're being,
well, yeah, I suppose business-wise that'd be the one. Listen, that's everything I need. All right. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, Danny. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Take care as well.
All right. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.